Return to Glory podcast. Hunter Zarnicki here, bringing you one of the two episodes from Return to Glory following the Huskers' 38-27 win over the Michigan State Spartans. Austin, Dak, and myself will give you our normal recap episode of the game. That will be in the other episode that is posted. This episode is going to be a bit of a trial run here. It'll be a new segment, a new episode called the HuskerLAB. A bit of background here. We all have that group chat, the group that we just talk Husker sports, Husker football constantly throughout the week, throughout the year. And these three guys, while they may be a little bit older, they always provide their strong opinions and thoughts and challenge the status quo, to say, with all of your thoughts and opinions about Husker sports. So with that being said, I'd like to introduce Larry Zarnicki, Arnie Cerny, and Ben Essab, and the HuskerLAB podcast.
Introduction too. I mean, not much. I just want to say a couple things. Let me get my glasses. Hold on.
God, old people. That's amazing. I'm the flipping oldest one by about 10 or years.
I got my glasses too, Larry.
Yeah.
No glasses on this guy, though. Again, have five eye surgeries.
You're going to get a chance to introduce yourself, Larry.
Okay, that's all I really wanted to do.
Do you want to do that?
That's it. Yeah, just
I have a little paragraph first, though, that kind of explains, who we are, and then I'm going to ask Cern or Larry, do you want to say anything about yourselves? So
okay.
That makes
sense.
Got it. And Cerny said he's not saying anything.
Okay, just say whatever you want.
Okay, so you guys let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Okay. Welcome to the lab, or as we want to call it, the Old Bass Podcast. I'm your host, Ben, sometimes known as E, and I'm here with Cern, a.k.a. The Pup, and Larry, who most of you know as Larzar. We're all over 50, and we have watched most every Nebraska game the past 40 to 50 years and have some insights that maybe will intrigue you all. I was a diehard Nebraska fan and never missed a snap and blindly supported whatever Tom did for many years, but for the past 20, since we went 5 wide at the spring game, I'm probably one of the most pessimistic fans in the state. Cern, on the other hand, has been on the other end for the past 20 years and believes we'll win every game by 20 to 30 points. Larry brings the most sanity to this as a level-headed fan who's seen the good and the bad. For the past 10 years, he's wanted one thing, a good offensive line. So, Cern, Larzar, you have anything to say about yourselves before we begin with the recaps?
Cern, you have something? You can go ahead.
No, you go first, Larry.
Yeah, so just a couple things. Ben, you hit on several of them already, but I guess you could call this old guy takes on Husker football. All three of us grew up in our 20s and 30s when the Huskers were in their heydays in the 90s. And I think one thing, and I don't know if this is accurate or not, but, sometimes the younger generation believes that, all we want to do is run the ball every play and, 3 yards in a cloud of dust. And yes, we did do a lot of that back then. But, I think myself specifically, I don't care how we win games. Like, if we need to throw it more, throw it more. If we need to run it more, run it more. But either type of success for Nebraska football, you can't do it without a good offensive line. We're seeing that a little bit now. I'm not going to go into great detail here, but I think we got a great quarterback, and I think he can throw the ball really well. Probably in our time of watching football, he's probably the best thrower we've ever had at that position. And so, fine, take advantage of that and throw the ball a little more if that's what we have to do to win games. But man, teams are pinning their ears back and killing us with stunts and different ways of blitzing. and it's a learning process. I'm sure we'll figure it out. But my point, I guess I just want to make with all that is, even though we're the older generation, it's still about winning games. And maybe today there are different ways to win games, and it doesn't have to be just run the ball every play and what some people consider boring football. But that was just my initial thing that I wanted to start off with. So
I love it. I that's a great way of putting it. And you're right. It goes back to offensive line, which is what you've wanted for how many years. And so that is spot on take about kind of why we're doing this, to help out, give our take.
Yeah.
CERN.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, I agree with a lot of what Larry said. The only thing I'd add to it is it's not just offensive line, it's line play, period. If you are, and the Huskers are just starting back, our lines are just starting back on getting to what it was like in the 90s and the 80s and the 70s. You got to have a great offensive line, but you also have to have a great defensive line. I mean, you just watch videos from the 90s and the 80s and the 70s, and you just see the D line just blowing up everybody else's offensive lines and destroying them. I mean, they're not even blitzing; they're just running stunts, stuff like that. But when they came in because almost all of their nose guards and defensive tackles were being doubled. And so the linebackers had a free flight right into the quarterback. So that kind of stuff is what I totally believe in. So in my mind, there is only one way to play football, and that is physical. The SEC, for all the years that they were a little bit better than the Big Ten and everything else, and same way back in the day of the Big Eight and even the early years of the Big 12, they were the most physical leagues. They were the most physical teams. I mean, again, you think about in the 90s when, again, Osborne sometimes was literally a prophet when he talked to the team about just wait, they will give up in the third and the fourth quarters, and they did. Why? Because you just keep pounding them. I loved it when those offensive guys in the 90s would tell the Kansas State guys and the KU guys and the Oklahoma State guys and hey, we're running this play. No, we're running the same play. Don't worry about it. And we're going to blow you up. And that's what that's what I absolutely love.
And sir, that worked when we were dominating enough on the line of scrimmage that it didn't really matter if they knew what we were running. We're a long ways from that right now. We just are. And it's almost like we have to, call something that confuses them and hope that they blitz in the wrong place, or we create a hole for our running back because they went through the wrong gap. That's just where we are. I'd love to get some domination back in that area, and we just have a lot of growth in that area. But
yeah.
Hey, one more thing, if you don't mind. I know this is mostly Husker football, but I'm assuming any topics on the table. I just want to give a shout out to that Neuheisel kid from UCLA. And what a college story that is. Like, I watched after we came home, clips on X or whatever, and just saw him, and it was he was a kid coaching a Division I storied program, right? The UCLA has some history, and just the passion in his eyes and the fun he was having, it was cool. Like, we get to watch some of the guys that have been coaching forever, and when they talk, you just see it's a business and it's stressful, and every little thing gets to them. When he spoke, he just was on cloud nine. And you know what? I thought by the end of the day today, they ought to just give him the freaking job. Like, why not? I know he wasn't the interim head coach, but he was the guy, I think, that did most of the speaking, and he called all the plays, as I understand it, for them. That was kind of his promotion. But he's a son of a coach that's had a lot of success in Division I, and you don't like him. And the other thing is kind of funny. man, he is a California kid. Like, he has his blonde hair.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just wanted to say, I think we love Nebraska football, but there's a lot of things outside of just Nebraska that are part of college football that are so cool. And that was one of the neatest things I thought yesterday.
It was really neat to see those 400 fans storm the field after the game. That was legendary.
That was hilarious.
You know, his dad
whoever sent that tweet out or whatever today was absolutely hilarious about, oh, this is what it looks like when you're.
And you know what? And maybe that's why he didn't care, because nobody else gave a shit. There wasn't anybody in the stands. But again, whether you like Rick Neuheisel or not,
hey, his dad used to play the guitar and take the guys down the river, and so it's a great story. It's a great story.
The father-son thing. If you guys saw any of the stuff of him in the studio, and they had been filming him during that end of that game, and just to see him cheering for his son and being excited about that. I don't know.
I'm glad you brought it up, Larry.
That was really neat.
That's good stuff.
That was good. That was good.
Good stuff about the defensive line. I keep telling people, let me know when we get a good rush end, a game wrecker. So offense, defensive line, I kind of think that's kind of what us old guys think is important in college football. Then you can put any offense around it. And, we have a pretty good secondary, but we'll get into all that. So, how about we each recap the game, what our takeaways from it, kind of where we're at, and then we'll move on from there. And then we'll do our predictions for next week and our predictions for the rest of the year. So that's kind of what we'll do moving forward here. So my first recap was, boy, to talk about a bizarre game. It was, but after looking at everything, I believe we're a top 25 team. That's who we are. I believe college football has no great teams except maybe one or two. And with the portal now, teams are going to look strange throughout the season, aka Penn State, us from the first possession to the second quarter to the fourth quarter. And winning ugly, I think, is okay. I'm a big Chiefs fan. Everyone said, why are you so unhappy last year after every Chiefs game? I said, well, we're just horrendous on the offensive line. And they said, wait, you're winning. And I said, oh, that's okay. There's going to come a point, though, where we're going to get exposed. And we did in the Super Bowl. So right now with Nebraska football, that was a win. And I looked back at our 92 and 93 schedule. Everyone thinks we beat everyone 60-3. There was a lot of close games when we were in the early 90s even. And so people, I think, lose perspective nowadays because they want it instantly to happen. And they get frustrated because we look horrendous when we take 3 sacks and it's 4th and 40. Okay. But then we look really good for a possession. And so people's roller coaster of emotions, I think they just unleash it all. And maybe that's with the beer sales too at the game. I don't know. But I had a lot of emotional text, people wanting to fire a roll in the third quarter and then saying how great he was by the end of the game. And I just think that's a little bit Nebraska's mindset now. Now, here's why I think we are a top 25 team. We have a great special teams, which is kind of like in basketball, having a team that makes free throws, so you're not going to beat yourself, or in baseball, having a good bullpen, or a golfer that has a good short game. As Larry said earlier, Dylan is a great passing quarterback. Yes, he's not the most mobile guy, but he thinks he should win games. And boy, if he gets a little bit of time, he can make some plays. And then we have a schedule, I think, that sets up for us to be a top 25 team. I just think on paper, talent-wise, we're as good as every team besides USC and Penn State. And I think our strengths on defense match up to theirs good. So my takeaway from the game is, heck, we know the offensive line's a disaster. We get frustrated, but to win a game, we should be happy to win and move on every week. So that's where I'm at after that game.
Good.
Sir?
Well, I think a couple of things about what you hit on is our offensive line certainly is weak, but at the same time, part of the I forget whoever developed the West Coast, but what's his name at San Francisco?
Oh, Bill Walsh.
Yeah, Bill Walsh. What he always did was, when he was playing a really good defensive front, he just went to the short passing game, and we don't really run it. We'll run short routes, but we don't run a short passing game. What I mean by that is, It is literally no drop. Within 2 seconds, within 1 second, you're already throwing the ball. You're running quick slants. You're running bleeds up the sideline. You're doing quick things. And I think that when you have to change your game plan as coaches when you know that their defensive front is better than our offensive front. You just run a quicker. If you're going to pass it, you're going to run just quicker pass plays.
We tried to run a quick pass.
Have a quick passing game, and you should have a deeper passing game. And we don't really truly have a quick passing game.
He tried to throw one underhand quickly.
How many times did we throw deep yesterday?
Once.
The 60-yarder? The 60-yard TD?
Yeah, the one to Jacory.
Yeah.
But it's not just that though either. The other thing
there's a reason we're not throwing deep.
Well, the other
there is a time.
You're right, Larry.
I agree. The reason why we don't throw deep right now in the last 2 games is because the defensive fronts were better than what we saw in the first 3 games. Well, and in the Cincinnati game, we didn't throw deep because they were playing deep, 2 deep safeties. They weren't going to allow us to throw deep. They're going to allow us to throw intermediates. They were going to allow us to throw short. That's why we threw short in that game.
Arnie, to throw deep, what do you have to have?
You got to have 4.5 seconds worth of time to throw deep.
Okay. So Hail Mary versus Michigan, we could roll out 3 guys. They only rush 3. We could throw deep. But
we got to do something with that. But here's the other part of it, though, with our offensive line. And that is on running plays. That's why I brought up a question last night about physicality of running. Because here's the big thing that I'm seeing. Part of it is we don't have trust. Our running backs do not trust our linemen. It's not so much, there's teams there. The difference between us and Michigan, for example, Michigan running backs put their foot in the ground and explodes through a 6-inch seam.
Hey, Cern, real quick, you brought up physicality, and I thought about this after the game because there were some others, Jackson included, was texting us about we got to be more physical than them this game, right? We won the game. Did we win the game because we were more physical than them?
We were physical in the fourth quarter. Well, let's put it this way. I thought we were physical whenever we had the win. No, there's only 2 scores out of the 50-odd points. There's only 2 scores, one by us and one by at the end of the third, and one by them at the end of the game.
I'm sure there were moments of us being more physical, them being more physical. I feel like we won that game off of finesse and just playmaking. Like we made some plays. We freaking threw a bubble screen, lost our shoe, and ran to the freaking end zone. That was a play. That was making a play. But what I thought on that, Larry, was we had those guys ripping our freaking helmets off our head. And
it wasn't tight on there tight. He needs to strap that up better.
I thought that honestly.
So does the K-State player.
No. Don't even talk about K-State.
Holy shit.
But on the run by Isaiah, the big thing that he did was he put his foot in the ground and he exploded.
I know, I'm just saying, sir, don't get off track. That's not.
He wasn't getting.
That's not tough. I was bringing up toughness. That's not toughness. That's a great play.
Emmett Johnson ran hard on the play into the wind.
He ran hard.
Going into the wind makes us less physical.
Well, we weren't ever. Our offense was never on the field because the team that had the win had better offensive series.
The 2 interceptions they threw, those were good offensive series.
We had. How many offensive plays we have last night?
Well, we went 30 minutes without snapping it after we blocked the punt and went up 14-0. And
we ran 55 plays the whole night. 55. Yeah. That's bad. That's not a good number.
We scored 38 points.
Huh?
We scored 38 points. I think the points are more important than the plays. But I get you. I get you. You want to wear people out, but we're not a running team, Arnie. We do it enough to try to be a little balanced, but you just have to accept we are not going to line up, run the ball like Michigan, and do that.
But
No.
we need to run more physical between the tackles. What I don't like, because I sit in the end zone, and all I ever see Emmett and other guys do is they just dance back and forth. They just dance. They do not put their foot in the ground and explode.
Arnie, Emmett Johnson is like Derek Brown, the wee back in the early 90s, but he doesn't have Calvin Jones with him. We had Dowdell last year to do that hard running. Emmett, that's just not his style.
He needs to do it, though.
He's pretty
He
tiny.
He did on his last touchdown run. He exploded. There was a small seam, and he exploded through it.
Yeah.
And then he got past the linebackers, and he cut off to the right.
Arnie,
Just outran him.
Arnie, our running backs right now are doing the exact same thing the last 7 running backs we have had at Nebraska. And you know why they dance? You know why they juke around? It's because they know when they get the ball, there's no freaking hole for them to run through. They have to go find a seam and bounce around and then go through the hole. You create a freaking hole for them. Oh, what happened? Sorry. You create a hole for them and you'll see a running back run hard through the hole and then hit somebody.
Correct.
But until that happens, that's what our running backs are going to look like.
Correct.
Well, I disagree with that because, one, in the Big Ten, you can't dance around. Because then their linebackers are going to also see, after about a second and a half, they also see the seam and they fill the seam.
I know, but
they tackle our ass.
I think
we have to explode when the linebacker is first getting engaged.
We're having a little bit of a chicken and an egg conversation here, I think.
I hope so.
And what that means is
don't be a chicken though.
Which one happens first, right? Like if there is a hole, they don't dance around. If there's no hole, you're dancing around. So which one's got to come first?
You got to get a hole.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is that
Arnie, we're not going to this year. So we're going to have to accept Emmett dancing around a little bit. There's nothing wrong with that. We are winning games.
I disagree with that.
It's not gonna be you've seen too many 80s and 90s holes that you could run through for 8 yards or 3 yards at least before you get touched.
No.
Yes. Okay.
No. Disagree with you on that.
Okay.
Because you could do it. Disagree that you could do it.
You can explode if you explode, plain and simple.
He's not that type of back. He will get hurt trying to do that. He has to be cautious how many hits he's taken. Who's our backup running back? Name him.
I don't care who it is.
Exactly.
I don't care who it is.
So
if he's gonna rush, but he's gotta rush. You saw what? Well, figure this out too. Why did Philly lose today?
Because Junker was there, but that's beside the point.
He ran 5 times. Their all-pro running back ran 5 times.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. He ran 5 in the first half. He ran 1 more time in the second half.
Okay. So your point.
You got to run them.
Well, correct. That's an NFL team. We're talking Nebraska. We know our limitations. We know where we're at. Arnie, was Michigan State tired in the fourth quarter?
Hey, fix your phone. Fix your phone, sir.
Yeah. Was their defense tired in the fourth quarter, Arnie? Right? Because we allowed them to sack us enough times in the first half, it wore them out. You know.
Oh, so you're saying we should
allow sacks? No. Yesterday, when I sent you that, you said, yeah, they were panting. They were, so we were physical enough. So
we just need to do stuff.
Okay.
But anyway, hey, let's move on.
So that's your take on it. Okay. Larry's take on the game.
Yeah. I won't be too long here so we can move on to the next topic, but you were talking, Ben, about receiving lots of texts from people after the game or during the games.
During the game.
And you know what? I was probably one of them. I wasn't too happy. And what's interesting is, we text a lot during the week about games. I'm usually the voice of reason. I'm usually telling you guys, calm down. And there's a little problem going on now that Nebraska sells alcohol at games. Is that I think that doesn't help any. Like you get a couple beers in you and you get a little bit more pissy. And I don't get wasted. I just have a few during the game.
Yeah.
And the point in the game that I felt like I was at my worst. If you remember in the second quarter, when we were up 14-7 and we had that, I don't know how far was it, Barney had the punt return, or who had the punt return for about 60 yards down to their 25? Barney. Yeah.
Yep. He had a
Um,
50-odd yarder that
and,
went down there.
and
then
That was
had-
later though, because it was coming
and we
towards
got
you, sir.
sacked three times in a row, basically. And
Mhm.
then and so that possession, all right,
And then a bad
fine.
snap. And a
Fine.
bad
Yeah,
snap.
there's a bad snap in there, but that possession.
4th and 42,
okay.
but our fans
then-
would tell you it should have been a penalty on them for ripping his helmet off. But anyway.
Yeah. And then I think they got the ball back, and a play or two, they threw an interception to us. And we got the ball
right
back.
to us.
We got the ball back in about the same place. So we got a
Yep.
second chance. We got
Yes,
a second
we did.
chance.
Yep.
What happened? We got sacked again and lost 20, 30 yards. And I don't understand like why that happens and why there's such a breakdown at that point in the game. Because here's what I'm a believer of. And I'll go back to this a little bit. I heard Penn State's coach, named
James Franklin.
Franklin, talking about what happened to them at UCLA. And he specifically mentioned it snowballed on them early. Okay. They got scored on. UCLA put together some plays that got in the. I didn't watch the game. I'm just going off of what I heard.
Yep.
Scored on them. Okay, great, guys. We're all right. This just play your game. Well, they onside kicked it. And
Yes.
And Penn State wasn't even near the goddamn ball. Like,
Yep.
So all of a sudden, everybody's questioning themselves about, oh shit, we didn't prepare for this game. Like, they've got our number. And from there, it was a dogfight. And I am a believer when a game's over, Michigan, we lost, but I'll go back to certain points in that game and go, if this would have went this direction, that game would have had a totally different outcome. And Penn State and UCLA is an example of that.
Yep.
Like, they could play 10 more times. I don't think UCLA is winning. Like, they aren't going to catch them off guard like that. But my point is, when you're up 14-7, yeah, they scored once on us. But you know what, guys? Regroup, get your shit together, go put it back in the end zone and go up 21-7. Maybe intercept the next ball and go up 28-7. It's a blowout. The game's over.
And that's the frustrating part with Nebraska fans right now. They see that could potentially happen. And so I got text from Joel Brueggemann, who's a big run the ball guy. And he said, because of this philosophy where we get a turnover and we throw and take 3 straight sacks, that is the part Nebraska fans long-term are saying, okay, we're winning the game, but what's the hope at the end? So we can get blown out by someone eventually. People are worried about the philosophy. Goes back to Arnie's physicality too, running between the tackers, but not just running the ball. But when you get a turnover, do you have to take 3 straight sacks and then get it back and again not run it?
Exactly. And so I guess that's my
Makes
recap.
sense. Yeah.
Other than after sleeping on it, after the alcohol wore off, I'm back to a little bit more of the voice of reason in that we are absolutely a better football team, and we're the better football team in many phases of the game.
Yes.
So we may not have to be a dominant offensive line because we have other things we're doing that are helping us win football games. And not every phase of the game comes along together at the same time and is a perfect picture of college football, except for the one team in the 90s. We all know who that is.
Yeah.
But that doesn't happen very often. So we're all right. I think we're good enough to beat a lot of the teams on our schedule. Could someone in that exact scenario sneak up on us and beat us? Yes, that probably is going to happen to us. We're going to get beat by a team like that somewhere this year. But no,
or maybe we won't. Maybe we will
maybe.
find a way to win those games ugly like the Chiefs did last year and be
Well,
off.
I agree.
But I think that's where we need to enjoy it a little bit, which I haven't for 20 years.
Yep.
And it's to the point now, it's like, you know what? Be happy we won. Just be happy we won the game.
Right. And again, that's the only reason why I brought up, if you don't have a great offensive line, then go to a quicker pass game. And we don't do it. And that's what I was a little disappointed. After the Michigan game, I just assumed that we would come in and be running quick slants, a hard curl. I mean,
Yeah, but
Are you
Cerny,
sure or not, Arnie? Are you
Cerny-
100% sure Dana's not doing that?
Hey,
I didn't see us running much of that at all. There was
wait,
still how many times he was getting sacked and receivers hadn't even turned around yet.
But there were times there were receivers open too. He didn't see them.
I agree with that. And that's part of that was he was very uncomfortable. I agree with
Well, he's
that.
going to be all year. So was Patrick
Hey,
Mahomes last year.
hey,
He's
and
going
I
to be
thought
like
about
Pat.
this too.
That's how Pat was. That's how Dylan's going to be.
One thing I wanted to add, Cerny, and I'll say
Yeah.
this with the caveat that I'm no expert at coaching, but my belief is that when somebody blitzes and sends extra guys to get to you, there are all kinds of things open in the short routes, slants, because there's no linebacker in there to potentially pick it off. It is one-on-one. You cannot guard somebody one-on-one 5 to 7 yards because they're playing off of you. But when the defense is getting to your quarterback with no extra guys, it doesn't automatically mean that the short game is there for you because
Great point, Larry.
because if you want to run that slant, there's still 2 linebackers sitting in those gaps and that are ready to pick that ball off. You can't throw that pass.
That's valid.
That's just something I thought about the other day because I likewise CERN was like, Jesus Christ, why can't we just throw some quick routes if they're getting to us? But as I watched how many people Michigan and Michigan State are bringing, they're not bringing any extra guys. But they're stunning the crap out of things. Like they are going left, right, Xing, coming around the ends.
Right.
And they're bull rushing us. Like they're just literally bull rushing us is what they're doing and just knocking us backwards.
So after seeing this a year ago, and I'm going to bring up my Chiefs again, they rolled Mahomes out more. They will start rolling Dylan out more. They will run a few more screens and then some draws. That's what's going to happen. And you gotta accept we're going to take 3 to 5 sacks. And the good thing is Dylan's at least not taking sacks where they knock the ball out of his hands and it's scooped and scores. He's used to taking sacks now where he knows how to take them. And I thought he tried to scramble early like we wanted him to. He did a good job with that.
Well, we shouldn't be worried about him getting hurt, right? Because we got a better quarterback back. We got a better backup than our starter, right?
That's people think that.
That's what all our fans
think. There's a gas station in Auburn that discussion was going on last
night. Yeah, don't talk about that.
Yes. And the other thing I was going to mention on us not criticizing but analyzing the players and the coaches, all of those people are getting paid a lot of money. Okay? So I don't feel sorry for Franklin. He's going to get $56 million if they fire him. Raiola, it's okay to be critical of him sometimes. He's getting his money. So
that wasn't caller Rhonda that called in last night. Oh, she was feeling sorry for the 18, 19-year-old kids. I don't know if you heard her, but
is Dylan 20?
Maybe. I don't know.
So not him.
But that was her point. She was like, stop beating up these 18, 19-year-old kids. They're just too young. And actually Jeremiah Searles, I think, was the host. He set her straight. He was like, I'm sorry to tell you these 18 and 19-year-old kids are getting paid good money.
Okay.
And he was very clear in that. She didn't like that.
Okay.
Well,
glad that was cleared up for her.
Hey, but Searles has that's an obvious point. If you're a multimillionaire, we can chew your ass.
And you do it anyway, Arnie, even if they're not. We've seen that over the years. Okay.
Well, yeah. That's okay because their parents love me.
Moving on to some fun stuff here before the storm hits and we're old and we watch Radar and stuff like that. So
I can't wait.
I know. So you guys are going with Hunter to Maryland this week to the game.
Yes.
And Cerny was packing his bag last night. He sent Hunter a picture of his bag being packed already. So a lot of excitement here. So we need predictions for next week, and I'll go last. I'll let Cerny start out with his prediction for the Maryland-Nebraska game out in Maryland.
I think it's going to be a little bit tighter than any game that would be at home. So I'm going to call this one about, probably 24-17, 24-21, right in that area.
Who's going to win?
Huskers,
sorry.
They're better. They're better.
Okay. Are we going to see anything different on offense, Artie, that you want?
I think they're going to keep tweaking it. I think that every game they're going to tweak it. And Maryland's supposed to have a really good defense. That's actually their strength. They have that freshman quarterback. And going back real quick to the Michigan State game, the good thing about at least sacks We had 5, they had 5. So
Yeah.
that negated everything. So that made that, if it would have been 5-0, we could have lost the game.
Okay.
And I think we're going to do the same thing to Washington. I think that's the name, Malik Washington or something like that.
Yeah.
We're going to blitz him. We're going to send people after him. He's going to have a hell of a game for us. He's coming on. He's coming on. So
I agree.
I think that, and I'm really looking, when I say 24-21 or 24-17, I'm almost doing worst case scenario. Kind of almost like what their game was this past week. They're up 20-0 and then they lose 24-20.
Okay.
I mean, it could be something where they score early, some flub happens, but we'll win.
Okay. Good. Larry?
Oh, wow. First of all, admittedly, I don't know crap about Maryland. I haven't seen a down. I've seen scores. They obviously have been playing fairly well. My biggest concern is we haven't yet been on the road.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
It's a great point.
Kansas City was not on the road.
That's a great
that
point.
was a home game. And not only
Might have
on
been
the
better
road,
than a home game.
I would feel better if we were on the road playing almost in a hostile environment where there were a lot of fans there. I think it's going to be kind of like ho-humish from a now maybe they'll draw some more fans since they're nearly rated and doing okay, but I haven't heard that the Maryland Stadium is kind of like, the epicenter of college football. It's kind of drab and they come watch their team, but I don't think they get too crazy. I'm a little concerned with how we're going to handle that, I guess. What are they saying? Are we the youngest team in the Big Ten?
Yes.
Youngest team, right?
Yeah.
So there isn't a lot of experience there with these kinds of situations. And the line, what they're saying, it's about we're favored by 6 points or something like that, I think. Gosh, the last thing is Hunter's going with us and
3 and 15 career road
record.
But the Arrowhead game was a home game, so
we're going to wrap him in. We're going to wrap him in plastic wrap so he doesn't get bounced around too badly. Hunter's going to be wrapped in plastic wrap.
When I look at this, you guys aren't going to like me, but when I look at the schedule and think about, and I think this is toward the end, Ben, you're going to ask how the rest.
First, I want the prediction this week.
I just think one of these 2 road games coming up, we're going to falter and lose.
Okay.
What happened to your phone, Larry? Swipe it.
He said we're going to lose, and he has vanished. So, sir, do you think the crowd will be affected by the government shutdown? We can't go there. Sorry, sir. No, don't answer that.
I got an email today that said that.
My fault. As the host of this show, I take full responsibility for that question.
They said the travel could get bad, so I'm worried a little bit. I'm traveling the next 2 weekends. Going to Maryland this weekend, and the following weekend I'm going to Phoenix to watch the Packers. And I guarantee it, if I lose my thing, that federal government is going to have a new thing thinking about.
Okay, so Larry has vanished off our Zoom. He's in the waiting room on Zoom. So anyway, maybe he can hear us, maybe he can't. But that happens when you get us old guys. He's in the waiting room.
Hunter, get him back on.
Okay, here we go. Larry's back. Okay, good deal. He turned it. Yeah.
I must have the cheap version of Zoom. I had a time limit happen. So,
there was such a thing.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know if you let me finish, which is the prediction. I don't think it's going to be in Minnesota on the road. I think this is the game we might lose. We lose on a last second field goal, 27-24.
Okay. You know what? That's from a level-headed Larry. I have us winning 31-30 on a walk-off field goal, them dropping a snap, them missing a field goal, or something bizarre happens at the end of the game, just like all the Chiefs games last year. So I have us winning on a crazy play at the end, 31-30.
All right.
It should be fun though. 2:30 kickoff, I think. You guys will be there, so
3:30 out there for us.
thanks, Artie. It's always fun to get the CERN videos. If we can get them on the podcast somehow of him at games, that's always worth it. So,
I'll try to entertain you boys.
Final question here. Predictions for the rest of the year. So from now until the end, what's your win-loss approximate? Doesn't have to be exact. And then who might we slip up to, or how do you get to that number, and what's going to happen for the remainder of the year, since we won't be on for maybe 4 or 5 weeks, or maybe never again. We'll see.
Yeah. See if
Larry, you go first.
Yeah, so I already got one loss coming up here in the next 2 games. I think we're gonna fare well against Northwestern. I also think I like us beating USC at home. I sure hope UCLA hasn't figured something out. I'm not too worried about them out there.
Well, their quarterback had 5 touchdowns. I think 3 of them running. He's the Tennessee transfer. He's really talented, and they just unleashed him and said, "Go play." So anyway, that could be. We'll see on that one. Okay.
Penn State's going to be a tough place to win, no matter what. Even if they aren't ranked anymore, that's just is going to be tough. I just don't see us losing to Iowa at home at the end of the year. So that means 2 more losses. I'd say 9-3. That's my prediction.
I like it. CERN?
Well, just after this past weekend, I mean, a couple of things I'm thinking about. One, that's why I think Maryland's going to be a tough game. Part of it is they lost. I think they're going to be really, really pissed. But also that kind of tells me that USC, Illinois just out pounded them. Penn State, they could spiral now. They could just spiral.
They could.
Because they have Indiana, and with Ohio State coming up, I believe, next 2 weeks, something like that. Long before they play us. I mean, they could end up having 3 or 4 losses before they play us. I think they could spiral. So I'm going right now, just thinking, and I'm not going to be overly optimistic, but I believe 10-2. I think we're going to lose 1. I'm not sure who it is. In my mind, it could. I think, like I said, I believe we're going to play Maryland, but I think the Minnesota game on a Friday night is always going to be tough, and then USC I think could be tough, and then obviously Penn State. But I only see us losing 1 of those 3 games.
So would that get us in the playoffs, Arnie?
I don't think it will. It all depends on who we lose to. Let's put it this way: if we lose to like Penn, or if we beat Penn State and Southern Cal, but lose to Minnesota, our losses are not going to be. I mean, our best loss is going to be Michigan, and Michigan, they're not picked to make the playoffs right now.
Yeah, no, they're not. But
they're out of the top 12.
It is looking like
Minnesota would even be worse. So we won't even be in the top 16 or 18 anyway. So if we lose to Minnesota, we have no chance. So I don't think just because of how our schedule is, if
we're not losing to Minnesota,
and lost to Southern Cal, and
we're not losing to Minnesota. That was my fear. I've watched them. If we lose to Minnesota, we are.
Yeah, I don't think we lose. So it's 11-1 in playoffs, then, right? 11-1 playoffs.
I believe we can make playoffs.
Okay, Arnie, would you be okay with that if we went to the playoffs and lost 48-3? How would you feel if we made the playoffs and then we lost in the playoffs 48-3 and just got embarrassed? How would you feel?
I wouldn't like that game, but I would be pleased with the season.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it would be at least, if we end up like 12-2 or 11-3, I'll be pretty pleased.
Okay.
I don't want to get blown out. I don't believe we will, but that's what happened last year. Think of all those first round games.
Yeah.
Hell, I mean,
2 weeks to prepare, and they,
Well, and then what? Every team that got a bye lost in the semis. Every team
Yeah.
that got a bye lost in the semis.
Yeah.
So if we somehow find a way to win, like hit a 12-5 game and win it, because that's what it'd be, I think, right? Yeah, 12-5. If we're at 12-5, win it.
So
And then we play Ohio State, who had a bye, and kick their ass.
So one of the things we need to do is treat Nebraska football like we do Nebraska basketball, where we are just happy as heck to win the game. We don't spend a ton of time overanalyzing things. We know what we're good at. We know what we're not good at. And all we want to do is make the tournament and give ourselves a chance to win a game. Are you okay thinking that way with Nebraska football right now?
I think it would be a step forward making the playoff, period. Just making the playoff would be a huge step forward.
Yep.
Because we just haven't. I mean, when you think about last year, it was our first bowl game in what, 16 years?
Well, we had one. We canceled it to go deer hunting, though, I think, or something. Frost turned one down during COVID.
Yeah, that's right.
Larry, would you be okay with that?
Yeah.
If we would slip into the playoffs because everyone's losing and everyone's just a disaster besides, we just keep finding weird ways to win and we get in the playoffs. I'm just being total hypothetical here.
Yeah.
And we get beat 48-3.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We've been beat, Ben. We've been beat like that. How many times in the last 20 years? Like
it would set us back?
It would suck to lose that game like that. But if that happened, but to get there means we have really improved. We have to get there means we have really done some things to improve. If that moment is too big for us because we're a bunch of young kids, well,
it'd be because we get exposed finally by a really good team,
and we get more exposed than we already are at some areas. Then we just got to go back to the drawing board and fix those positions. I mean,
you mentioned that we had losses like that in the last 20 years, but those were to like teams that weren't all that great. The Baylors, they blew us out. Texas Tech, I think
did. Texas Tech did 70 to 10. I'm saying?
They weren't great teams. They weren't phenomenal teams.
But that was Bill Callahan. That was a whole different.
Yeah, I know it. I'm just saying 48-3, and we get piss pounded by, I don't know, Georgia or somebody.
Yeah.
At least we know they're good.
Yeah, that's a whole nother topic. Who's actually good? We know they're decent. They're good. They're good. Sorry.
And hopefully we get another chance to do this because there's so many topics to talk about. But what's going on in the background with, and again, none of these people are actually here and on campus, but they're still recruiting and they're still recruiting resources that tell you where you're at. We're knocking it out of the park in the recruiting realm for the next couple of years. Like what we were 2027, we have a top 5 recruiting class right now in the nation.
Because we've signed, I think, 3 guys.
And
4 guys, I think, right now.
I don't know. And so it's a little bit back to what you asked me, Ben. That if that happens, it'll suck when it happens. But there's some really good things on the backside happening with recruiting. And I would believe that we're able to get players here to find replacements for our deficiencies to help us. And so all that, the good that's coming with this, the bad that happens, if that were to happen in the end, the good totally outweighs the bad because it's helping us recruit.
Even if we stumble into it by teams not being as good this year or being this Nebraska football team, it seems like only
we care about that. Only we care about that. Nobody else. I mean, they'll say it, but they forget it in a minute after they go back and look at the season. Nobody goes back and remembers how tough somebody's schedule was last year or the year before.
Great point.
So
it's going back to winning games. We should be happy we're winning games.
Yes,
it doesn't matter how it looks. We should not be giving it a grade. If we should be happy we're winning games. We won by 11.
I get a pass in game moment to bitch. After that, I'll be fine. But in game moments,
that's justified.
I get frustrated.
You're a season ticket holder. You pay a lot of money to that university, so
that's right.
You're justified to do that. Yes, you're in the fight with them.
Dang right.
Yep.
Okay. Good. Well, I believe this Saturday's game is the most important game for the remainder of our season. If we win this game at Maryland, I really believe, Arnie, I'm with you. We can go 10-2, miracle 11-1. If we would to lose Saturday, I'm really scared it's going to be 7-5.
I would.
Yep.
I agree. I mean, we're probably as fragile as anybody else in the country.
Correct.
Like I said, I think
Correct.
Penn State could spiral.
Yep.
Who knew?
Well,
who knew if Georgia had beaten Alabama, Alabama could have spiraled.
yeah.
But now they got a big win, and so blah, blah, blah. If we can win the next 2 weekends, the 2 away games.
Yep.
That is going to give us so much confidence.
Correct.
Yeah.
We are going to.
Here's the other thing. So
I might even go 11-1 then.
When teams start losing, like Penn State, whose goal before the year was a national title, now they are out of that. Those guys have very little to play for.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they won't, but it's just a lot harder than when you're trying to build something like we are. USC, I know they're a pretty good passing offense, but what's our strength on defense?
Pass.
The secondary. So that team's strength, well, our strength can kind of counter that. So I really believe this Saturday's game sets up the rest of the season at either 10-2, 11-1, as crazy as that sounds, or possibly 7-5, because our guys will lose, like you said, lose confidence. And as you start losing, guys get injured. It just happens. It's weird.
Yep.
They're just they do. And so that's where I'm at with, and that's why it's so great. You guys are going to the game. We have the pod now, because if 4 weeks from now we can look back and say, yes, that is when it went south, or that's when it went north. So it's been a lot of fun.
Great.
Anything else you want to add before I wrap us up here?
Yeah, just one thing.
Okay.
Make sure that when you are listening and watching the game on Saturday and every other Saturday or Friday, just make sure you have enough energy and you want to just kick ass. Mother, son of a gun! Woo! Love that.
Sorry, can you give us a Go Big Red playoffs? Just one?
No. GBR. GBR!
Can you give us a big red playoffs this one? Check it out.
Sorry, Rhonda.
Hey, I need your
Larry,
participation, CERN, in our positive group text. Like, you don't participate. Like, we're trying to create positive vibes and you don't respond to anything. So
Yeah, I do.
Can you do that?
Thumbs up. I do. I give it. I don't put too much in there because I just like looking and laughing.
We want to hear your positive text about Husker football.
Well, I am.
We created it for that purpose.
Hey, I love them. I've seen all 5 national championships. You guys haven't. I love the Huskers.
We know. Did
We
you
know.
stand at the spring game when Billy C went 5 wide, though? That's what I want to know.
Not stand up.
Yes,
I probably clapped my hands a little bit.
Okay, that's all I need to know. Okay. So, Larry,
Don't hold me to it. I don't remember. Hell, I'm 66. I don't remember anything.
good point.
All right, we're good.
Okay,
Yeah,
I got to wrap this up here. This lab, I think Larry Arnie Ben, I think is why it was titled Lab, but the Old Bass podcast has been brought to you by
I love
Arnie.
HuskerLAB. I love HuskerLAB.
This
Larry Arnie Ben.
This Larry Arnie Ben podcast has been brought to you by NioCorp, or for people who buy stock, NB. It's up 351% since we told people to buy it, and it's still a bargain at around $8. Go get your NB stock tomorrow, locally owned in rare earth minerals, soon to be mined near Elk Creek, Nebraska.
Love it.
Your stock tip of the week. So love it, guys. Thanks a lot. Go Big Red. Have fun in
GBR.
Go Big Red.